Mario games are some of the most recognizable and beginner-friendly games out there. Just about anyone can hop into most Mario games and have a fun time. This is obviously because the developers at Nintendo understand how to make a good game and are experts in their craft. From the groundbreaking Super Mario 64 to the masterpieces that are the Super Mario Galaxy games, or even the more casual Mario Kart and Mario Party games. These games would not be what they are without Nintendo. Mario Flash games! Now, I'm not talking about Mario fan games. Well, I sort of am. Mario Flash games are technically Mario fan games, but for the most part there's a clear difference in style, quality, ideas, etc. This is because Flash games are stuck on a very scuffed platform and are also mostly being made in the 2000s and early 2010s, whereas what you would call a fan game wasn't. Like, sure, Mario Combat and Mario and the Rainbow Stars are both Mario fan games per se, there's a clear distinction to be made. However, you can tell with both that they weren't given Nintendo's blessing for better or for worse. And what say we take a look at some of these Mario Flash games? Some of them are very interesting because they're surprisingly good, and some of them... And I can't think of a better place to start looking at these games than the aforementioned Mario Combat. This game is awesome, it's like if a dorkly animation came to life. Guys, what if Mario was like evil and he beat people up? Well, no what if, no more, bitch! This is a beat 'em up done right, because every punchline feels extremely satisfying, a lot of which is owed to these sound effects. These are super punchy and meaty. Every time I land the aerial punch in this game, it feels like that one video of the guy hitting that slam dunk in the snow. The controls are a bit jank, sure, because Mario isn't really able to properly adjust what direction he's going mid-air. Jumping in this game feels more like Half-Life 2 than it does Mario. But it works well enough, and this wall jump is a lifesaver, even though falling in a pit seems to not really hurt you at all, but ignore that. You've got a decent enough moveset, a free hit combo, uppercut, a forward aerial. All of the enemies are Koopas. I'm just laughing at Koopas, because I'm just thinking of Chris Pratt. Off. All of the enemies are Koopas that are a bit too good at martial arts, but as long as you don't stand still for too long, you'll be good. The sprite work is also really damn clean, very Dorkly-esque like I previously mentioned, but they are just crude enough without being an overboard bloodbath. The game actually starts off at Bowser's castle, so no nonsense here. After making our way through some rooms, we get on this elevator and have to fight off more Koopas so we don't get knocked off. After we reach the top, we're face to face with Bowser himself, where he plays like every single Smash Bros player online as Bowser and jumps all over the place and keeps stomping down. The stomp move hurts a ton, so you gotta get into a rhythm of timing your attacks to hit mid-air while not getting caught in the stomp. It's a better fight than most Mario bosses at least, because it's not just tapping them on the head once then waiting out that damn shell attack for most of the fight. Plus, after he stops using the stomp move, you get time to absolutely smack the shit out of him. We defeat Bowser and it looks like Mario still hasn't had enough.
Come on everybody, it makes you feel better.
Fun fact before I stop talking about this game, the developer behind this actually released a game on Steam titled Armed with Wings Rearmed. I also have this game. I haven't played it yet, but I'm sure it's good. Look at the Steam reviews, that's 88% positive, that's gotta count for something. Oh, time to move on to the next game, and to stay on the theme of excessive violence, here's Super Bazooka Mario. The plot for this game is that Bowser has kidnapped Peach once again, but this time Mario is pissed. So he decides to eat what looks to be a poison mushroom, and that for some reason makes him incredibly buff, which leads to him ripping the pipe out of the ground and just using it as a makeshift bazooka, instead of just, you know, beating everyone up at this point. I mean, for all we know, if he gets brushed by a Goomba, he'll instantly lose all that muscle, so maybe I'm wrong here, I don't know. The gameplay is kind of like Angry Birds with one very important and annoying change. You don't just have to hit the enemies to kill them, you have to make sure the bomb you fire explodes at the right time to actually hit the enemy. This is very annoying. It can make it super hard to actually hit some of these guys as they continue to move back and forth, and these bombs take an obnoxiously long time to explode. Now what do I deem as obnoxiously long in this context? Well, how does 5 seconds sound? Beyond the funny art, this game has no chance of being fun based on how delayed the explosions are. I gave up on level 5, it sucks. You know what might not suck? This game. How do I know this? Well, the music in the background is "Can't touch this."
Can't touch this.
I have no idea why it is, but it's the reason I remember this game. That and the fact that it is very sensitive. You have to land Mario on this platform while dodging an increasing amount of rocks flying about, but you have to land dead center on the platform, and at that you have to be going super slowly, otherwise Mario breaks his back, I guess. I kept playing this game just to see if it had an ending, but the more I played, the more it became apparent that it is just endless. Seems like another rock is added per level, so at some point I think it would become genuinely impossible. I played this game for 6 minutes somehow. Well, it wouldn't be a discussion on Mario Flash games without bringing up Unfair Mario. Possibly the most infamous game here, as I feel like everybody knows about this one, for better or for worse. As the name would tell you, this game is very unfair. If you ever played the troll level in Mario Maker, you have someone to thank for it. Showbon No Action, or as you know it, Cat Mario, as it predates Unfair Mario by about 4 years and is probably the inspiration for Unfair Mario itself too. But we're not talking about that today because I don't know, I need something to talk about if I make a follow-up, I guess. This game just straight up hates you. Everything here kills you instantly, and the whole game is basically a minefield where the mines are invisible, can shapeshift, and can be mid-air. The game even tracks how many deaths you've taken just to rub a bit more salt in the wound each time. A lot of this is just trial and error, because you don't know what part of the level will kill you until you step on it or cross over it. So you have to make a mental map of the levels you keep dying so you can navigate it. And even then, you'll probably find some way to still die. It's not exactly creative in the way it kills you most of the time, because most of it is the floor falling out from under you, and the rest of the game is just spikes spawning out of nowhere. I didn't get to the end of this game either, but I think this one is justified because oh my god, this feels like slamming your head into a wall over and over. I know this game is meant to be annoying and unfair, but it becomes utterly draining to play at a certain point. I spent like 2 minutes here going left and right trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do before landing on this invisible block allowing me to make the jump to actually progress. The game also likes to play mind games with you by telling you to watch out for certain stuff where sometimes it's being honest, and other times it's 100% lying. Whoever made this game is genuinely impossible to predict. Sherlock Holmes could not catch this fucker if they committed a crime. I was able to play this one for 7 minutes before getting annoyed and quitting, so I'm probably in the top 90% of players at least. I need to relax a bit after that last one, so let's use something nice and simple, like this Paper Mario scene creator. I'm sure you've seen a bunch of Flash games like these yourself, where you're given a bunch of sprites to place around on different backgrounds to create whatever scenes you want. With this, I can make the Paper Mario scenarios of my dreams. I'm so excited for this. Oh yeah, I'm totally thrilled for this year's anime convention. I heard this year they're not gonna have Goku's voice actor get mad at someone for doing an impression this time. I hope I don't get kicked out for sniffing women again.
I wonder why they're all lined up for the annual Bobo Pager convention. I'll bet I think you look extra smooth today. Oh Lady Bao, you are simply too kind.
See, look at that, I've improved the game and franchise tenfold. While we're on the topic of Paper Mario, let's take a look at Paper Mario World. There's something very important about this game, and that's that it completely kicks my ass. I never beat it when I was younger, and even now when I went to play it, I couldn't beat it. Paper Mario World takes the visual identity and some mechanics of Paper Mario and turns it into a platformer, because that went really well when Nintendo did it. You have to hit this block to get a mushroom to push a block upwards. Okay, that's a new one. I wonder what else this game has in store. Beep beep, don't hit the balls. And yeah, you don't want to hit these balls. There's a shell enemy which we need to hit with a hammer. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, maybe, there we go. We have to make a super long... We have to... I'm not doing the super mega joke again, it doesn't even work. I'm not even saying the word super mega, I'm not putting that in. We have to make a super long jump in the next room, but luckily we've been given a speed boost so we can make it. I said we can, not that I could. We find this weird cap on the pedestal that when picked up takes us to the strange alternate dimension with Goombas raining from the sky and a unfair Mario reference. Now we have to fight the enemy foreshadowed to us at the start of our journey, the Doomba. I died and gave up. But you know what? Seeing this footage of me losing again invigorated me to give it one more shot. Paper Mario World, this time, I'm gonna win. Oh yeah, take that you bitch, I win! I've never seen this cave area before in my life, so I'm going to have to entirely wing it. If you touch these platforms even slightly from any angle, they instantly plummet. Still, it isn't too hard and we move on. And before I wrap up talking about this game, I need to talk about the music here. Something about Flash games and their music choices, especially when the audio is at a low quality, just has an irreplaceable vibe. We grab the mask from the Doomba and we finally win. So I'm gonna ask the question that's probably on everyone's mind. Why was this game so difficult? This is by no means the hardest game here, not by a long shot, but I feel the difficulty here entirely stems from accidental design. Like, you simply cannot tell me that hitting a shell enemy earlier was meant to be this difficult. I know I'm not alone in thinking that this game was difficult either, because other people who have played it have shared the same sentiment. And I guarantee you, if you played it for your first time, you would not win. It would at least take you 2 attempts. Okay, I found this game while scrolling through Flashpoint and it mesmerized me. I simply had to play it. The website this game kept trying to take me to doesn't exist anymore, which is a great sign. And another good sign is that there's a Facebook page being advertised throughout the whole game. Now, actually playing the game, I have no words that can describe this experience, but I'm gonna try my best anyway. You play as Mario and your goal in every level is to kill the former American President Barack Obama. You do this by using this gun with a knife on it to shoot. The problem with this, okay, one of the many problems with this is that at a certain point the game is assumedly asking you to rebound bullets off of the walls so you can actually hit Obama. Issue of this being that the bullets don't rebound off of walls, making it impossible. I did manage to beat this one level by somehow clipping a bullet through this minuscule gap, but that was the outlier because outside of this incident I couldn't get it to happen again. What a wonderful experience this game was. Hopefully it gets a Switch 2 version with mouse support. Alright. Enough with the filler games, time to look at one of the most iconic Mario Flash games ever made, I mean, at least in my opinion. This game asks the question of what if you play Mario as the bad guys? So what we have here is a very basic 2D platform with a couple Mario game mechanics throwing like power-ups and bouncing off of enemies' heads. I'm not sure why, but I was sucking major shit playing this game for the first 10 minutes of my recording, so I ended up getting a game over on the first couple stages and went to go load my save only to find out that this game has no autosave, requiring you to manually save every single time. So I then had to restart from the beginning. Aside from the game journalist tier start, I press on and make it to our first boss encounter against He runs around like a maniac before heading inside this little football stadium commentator area he's got set up to shoot fireballs at us, which don't help him much as we can just sit in this one spot and easily avoid all of it. Wario is down, we rescue one of our Goomba friends and we venture into the forest to search for more of them. I didn't mention it earlier, but to get 1-ups in this game, you have to find and kill Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Baby Wario, and Baby Waluigi, which just begs the question. What? If we're killing the baby versions of these characters, how are they still alive for their boss fights? How do they keep coming back to life? Are these the past versions of these characters, or just babies meant to look like them? Why are they just being left out in random places like this? Anyway, as we're going through these forest levels we get a new power-up. It doesn't give us the cape, but instead a pair of wings that allow us to glide when jumping, and it makes this really annoying sound. But despite it being really useful, I usually opted to just take the Fire Flower instead. Also because the jump being different threw me off later on when the platforming got harder. There's nothing very noteworthy about these stages. So skipping to the boss, we find that we're actually fighting Princess Peach herself, who may have the most lame boss fight of all time, so I'll just skip over that, trust me, you're not missing much. Afterwards, or should that be afterwards? We're in the snowy mountains. The most common thing you'll see in these levels is platforms moving over bottomless pits, and these segments are pretty good, especially when you realise you're about to fall, so you panic and start trying to press the jump button as soon as possible. I think the music playing is also some N64 Rainbow Road remix. The boss this time is Waluigi, where the actual main threat is the carbon emissions from his snowplow. Doesn't even feel like we're fighting him, I'm also just bothering him. Onto the desert area, and the most notable thing here is how this one level kicked my ass because it has insta-kill spikes everywhere that you can only barely slip by. And yes, these are the kinds of video game spikes that hurt you regardless of where you touch them. The rest of this world was kinda worthless. Despite being the fourth boss, this might be the easiest one as you can keep bouncing on Luigi's head over and over and he has literally no counterplay to it.
Yep, nothing I can do. It's 100% win for him. There's literally nothing I can do to stop him.
We make it to our final set of levels, Mario's Castle. These levels aren't playing around either. Aside from the one previously mentioned Spike level, nothing so far has really been that much of a challenge until now. I died a quite frankly embarrassing amount of times in these stages. The look of these levels being identical to the first couple levels really makes you wonder why Mario is copying his arch enemy's style. And again, given how much more tough these levels are, I think he's earned the right to copy a bit, considering he's doing Bowser's job better than him. These levels really love having a giant lava wave going in and out, or just chasing you, which will insta-kill you as well. But it's not as obnoxious as the spikes from earlier. Right before the end, the game decides to slap a boss rush on our face where all the bosses have received one slight upgrade. Wario has rising lava during his fireball attack, which actually makes this fight considerably harder because you have to actually dodge these now and they're pretty hard to avoid. Peach has a fireball going back and forth in the center of the arena, which basically changes nothing as I would sit on the side of the arena regardless. Waluigi has fire bars on his tires, which are pretty annoying but nothing too difficult to work around. And lastly, Luigi has walls of lava coming in and out from the sides, which barely change how you fight him as you just need to make sure not to overshoot him now. So yes, he still is the easiest one. What a tosser. We have one final level, and after dying a couple times to this hazard, we make our way to the final door to face the mastermind behind all of this. Mario in a big fucking mech for some reason. We need to wait for him to slam his fists down, then jump on them. This takes a while though, as only one of his attacks lets us get multiple hits and they both have a pretty high amount of health. Once we take down the fists, we You know, I'm not really sure. I guess we just have to wait until he lowers his head so we can hit him. He has a bunch of attacks. There's this one where he summons spikes along the ground, one where he shoots out bob-bombs, then we have to jump to this platform that only spawns in for this attack so we can dodge it. This one where he rolls the body of the robot along the floor that we have to jump over. So I'm just gonna keep dodging until... Oh, so apparently this attack where you jump over its body is actually how you damage it, despite there being no indication whatsoever that you're doing damage. Anyway, after a somewhat close shave with Mario, we rescue our last Goomba friend, Bowser is still nowhere to be found, and the credits roll. Overall, A Koopa's Revenge definitely isn't amazing. Even for a Flash game, there are a couple better ones out there. But for what it's worth, it's a solid enough time, and there's gotta be some reason this game has stayed stuck in my mind for so many years. I never got far in this one when I was younger. Heck, I don't even think I made it out of Bowser's Castle. A lot of the game's levels are, let's be real, rather unnoteworthy and the difficulty a fair bit imbalanced. But I will always remember this game, due to a combination of things like its dorkly-esque presentation with you playing as the villain and blood coming out of enemies you kill, or just a general look of the game or the remixes it ripped, probably without the creator's permission. It's a relic of its time and I would not have it any other way. Oh, and going back to the credits real quick, they actually use a remix of the Super Mario 64 file select screen. Have a listen. You know what else uses Super Mario 64 file select screen remixes? Super Mario 63, of course. While I won't be covering the full game, I absolutely have to mention this, as it's by far the best Mario Flash game. Since I've said that, you're probably wondering why I didn't dedicate more time to it. Well, that's because this game is too damn long to cover in a video like this. Seriously, this game is big enough to have its own video dedicated to it. This game is basically an alternate take on Mario 64 if it was a 2D game instead, and it does a surprisingly good job at it. Hopping straight into the game, the opening area before we reach Peach's castle gives us a chance to get used to our moveset, and we can absolutely blitz through this using the dive move. You get a crazy burst of speed from it, and it's super satisfying to do. We also have a triple jump, side jump, spin, ground pound, a very versatile moveset for 2D Mario for sure, and I think it really adds to how fun this game is. We even get introduced to Flood here. That's right, the thing from Super Mario Sunshine. Which is really cool, because I love being able to use this thing in the game that isn't Sunshine. Pretty overpowered here though, at least in 3D it was to just slightly adjust you mid-air, maybe get you a bit more height, but here it feels like a glide and double jump in one, and the moment you touch the floor at all you get to use it again, which is super strong. Once we make it to the castle, we actually get to meet Peach, but similar to Mario Galaxy, this is short-lived as Kamek kicks our ass and we get knocked out. Bowser scatters the shine sprites everywhere, and it's now up to us to find them. Entering the castle, we make a break for Bob-omb Battlefield and immediately set our sights on King Bob-omb, our first target. I actually think the mountain climb in this game is more engaging and interesting here than it is in 64. I don't know if that's particularly controversial, but I never found the climb that interesting, especially since you can skip most of it. Once we're at the mountain's peak, we have to defeat King Bob-omb by using our spin move to knock the Bob-ombs back at him. If I say Bob-omb one more time, I'm gonna lose it. Which reminds me a bit more of his fight from 64 DS, where you had Yoshi do a similar thing, except instead of spinning, he would just pick them up with his tongue to launch them back at him. He goes down with minimal trouble though, when we get our first shine sprite. I go back into the level again to grab more shine sprites and also find some star coins around the map. I didn't know what these did at first, but apparently these unlock stuff for the level editor. Wait, a level editor? This game has a level editor? Why did so many Flash games have level editors? Is it just me noticing this, or is this shockingly common? Like, these can't be easy to put together, right? Like, it's really cool that they're here, and I appreciate it, but like, how does so many of them have a level editor? Especially with the Flash games made by Edmund Macmillan. I swear every single one of those has a level editor. Like, some of these games are complete dog shit. I don't want to make more of them. I'm getting off topic. I got about an hour of footage for this game, and I only ended off with about 8 shine sprites. For reference, I spent the same amount of time on A Koopa's Revenge, and I finished that game. Since this game is clearly in its own tier to other Flash games, I think I should judge it appropriately. So to give some critique to this game, I don't like having to have my mouse select what to do each time I grab a star coin, because you know I don't want to leave the cursor on the screen, but at the same time I don't want to have to keep dragging it over. It's a whole thing. And no, yeah, I think that's it really. Flood is a bit overpowered like I mentioned earlier, but you actually have to find him in levels first. You don't just instantly have a win button on you, and some levels don't feature the guy at all. These are super fun to use, especially the rocket nozzle in this one instance where just passing through semi-solid objects was enough to reset it, so I just kept using it over and over again, completely obliterating this obstacle course. The cool mountain stage actually has a map to show you where you are, which is crazy to think about because not even a 3D game needed a map, but honestly it is a bit harder to navigate these places in 2D since you can't just see a location off in the distance and be like, okay, I want to go there. I found this cool beach level that was way more fun than 64's Dire Docks because it isn't just a big bowl of water that you go through super slowly. There was the secret level above this set of doors in Peach's castle that I remember finding when I was younger. It's a really cool platforming challenge and feels inspired by the no flood challenges from Sunshine, though in this case you do still actually get flood here. I could really go on with this game. Like, even the writing here isn't awful powerful, which is an absolute miracle for a Flash game. There was this gag where a Toad mentions his friend has been lost for years, and in that same room you find that friend he mentions behind a hidden wall, and if you free him, he gets to reunite with his friend in their dialogue updates. I don't want to talk about this game any further, as I really do think you should play this one for yourself, also because I may want to save it for its own fully dedicated video, as there is definitely enough to talk about here. Well, that's all for now, but I think we looked at a decent selection of Mario Flash games. Oh, wait a second, I still have another game on the list here. Super Mario Hardcore? I guess we can check this out.
Holy shit, this is so loud! Why is this the music? Is Mario running around with a shotgun just killing enemies? Why is all the audio so loud? Why does Mario's jump look like that? What is he doing? Why are the Koopas in military outfit? Level 2, the underworld? What is this stupid game?